You're listening to the Drum Shed Podcast.
Welcome to the Drum Shed Podcast, and tonight we've got Joe Styppa. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, that's it. Joe Styppa.
Joe Styppa.
So, but of course you can say Joe Styppa, then it's a bit more the English version, you know.
Welcome. You're a drummer, producer, songwriter, sound engineer, dad.
Yeah.
And you live obviously live in Germany, in the south?
I'm living in the really south of Germany, so in between the Alps and the Lake of Constance. So the studio is almost in the Alps.
All right. Is that south of Munich?
Yeah, it's
quite
south of Munich, but it's really at the border to Austria and Switzerland.
Right.
Yeah, so very south. There is no more.
No, there's no more Germany below you. So that must have made the European drum show quite easy for you then. Was that quite close?
Yeah, it was really close. It was like 45 minutes. This was amazing. I never had something like this. Because the thing here is that normally here nothing happens where I can be part of with my art or other artists, you know. Because here in the south of Germany, everything is much more into this folkloristic stuff, and so I was really happy that they were in Friedrichshafen.
Yeah, it's a place I can't pronounce. Say it again.
Friedrichshafen.
Yeah. See, I can't do the R's thing. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd have to call it Germany.
But I have the same problem with the English, so
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Your English is a lot better than my German. I know very little, sadly.
We can do a little passage of the interview in German.
Okay, I can say no, but and maybe yes, but okay. So. Joe, thank you for coming in tonight. I first came across your name on YouTube a few years ago when I was researching the Sonor vintage drum kit because I wanted to get one, and I was. Looking at when you're about to buy something, you search all the YouTube videos and try and get excited about it, watch it, listen to it, and there was a great video that you put up on the Red Oyster kit. I remember you playing the Murat Real.
I think it was this Why I Play Sonor thing, playing.
Yes.
Some tracks from my project, and also the Tiempo de Festival from Dave Weckel, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of. Well, I was toying between the vintage marine, or the vintage pearl, it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Red Oyster, and my reasons for the Red Oyster was that my first kit when I was 16 was a 1960s. Beverly Olympic mishmash of drums in red in the same finish, and it was kind of like, okay, so I'll buy that kit, but I'll buy it in my colour it'll be a new version, but it'll be like my color. I wasn't sure, and I was going between the white or the red, and then I saw your video, and it was so beautifully done, and it looked great, it sounded great, and I thought, yep, I'm going to buy the red. So I did buy the red. And
yeah, I love the red oyster. My very first kit was red oyster, but this was the reason why I bought the white marine pearl, or the marine, no, white pearl, I think it's the name. The marine pearl is from Ludwig.
Yeah, I mean, they've all got different names, so they're all very similar. I think Sonor call it vintage marine. Oh, do you know what? It doesn't matter. I keep forgetting. I should really know, because I've got one as well now. But so you went over to the white, and you also noticed you had an 18-inch bass drum, which is something I want to come on to. But I remember from that video you saying that you were annoying your mother by hitting the pots and pans, and she bought you a Sonor swinger kit. Is that right?
Yeah, that was like it happened. It was when I was 6, I think. Yeah, back when I was 6, she came home with a nice, very old red oyster kit, Sonor swinger, and this was like Christmas for me, because it was, you know, it was another time, so we had not much money, so it was very hard sometimes to get through the month, and so I never asked my mom if I could have maybe a drum kit or something, because I think it was I was knowing that it's gonna be a hard thing to buy for me.
Yeah.
But then she just brought me one, and this is today. It's freshly refurbished. So I put a lot of work into this piece, and now it's back on stage again.
Well, the same kit. You got the same kit.
It's my old
The exact same
kit.
one.
It is the exact same one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bit jealous. I'm a bit envious of that, because I did sell mine, or I traded it in for a Pearl Export, of course, in the 90s, which is what everyone was doing, in black. But that was one of my biggest mistakes, was losing my old kit.
I had to keep it. So, cause the thing was, I got a new one back in 2000 or something. But of course, I was very much into metal drumming. So I combined the old one and the new one to one very huge, big monster kit. And this was the reason why I haven't sold this old Sonor swinger kit. And now today, of course, I'm really happy. I've sold the newer one, the Sonor Force 3003. I've sold this one, but I kept the swinger.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear it. That's almost like keeping your first car. Like, I'm glad you've got it. You have to send me a picture of that if you've got some pictures of it. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah, of course, man. So, but of course, later I can just move to the other room and I can show it to you.
Oh,
it's standing there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about Sonor, then, so you've your new kit, or your current kit that you use. I'd seen recently, which is probably not that new actually, but you did a video for Sonor in the factory, and you were playing on an 1810-16 or 1810-14?
1810-16, yeah.
Yeah, which is a very strange combination for some people. Would be like a 16 with an 18.
Yeah, but the thing is that everything sometimes got very strange when I'm building up drums. So my drum kit for those factory shootings was built up like this because I wanted to have a floor tom sounding like almost a kick drum. And the 18-inch kick is always sounding a bit like EQ'd and compressed already, so it's very short, but if you handle it the right way with the tuning, it has a very nice sub and a super clear attack. And the 10-inch tom is much more tuned like a timbale drum or something like this, very high. So it's not handled like everyone is handling drums. And it's the same way now. I'm sitting here in front of this kit. And when I'm looking at it, I see that every tom has its own drum head. So I have on all shells Aquarian drum heads, but there is nothing like I have three texture coded heads on it. So I'm much more searching for the sound that fits the most to what I expect, to what I want to hear. So I have, Performance 2 clear on the 10-inch. I have Super 2 coated on the floor because this is very thick, 2 layers, and it has like intention already when you haven't put it on the drum. So you can have it that loose that it's doing this kick drum punch, boom. And on the snares, I have normally on the main snare single ply texture coated, and on the side snare sometimes high velocity or high energy heads. So I think now it's a 3-ply, very thick drum head that is much more for marching drums or something like this.
Yeah, right.
So it makes just knock.
Yeah, so my uncle plays the drums. He has been playing, he's like 70 years old or 72. And he has a big stock of heads, he used to work in a music shop, and I think they paid him in heads, And but he'll always find the right head for the drum. And because he's not endorsed or anything like that, he will just whatever head is the right for that drum. And he always says there's always a head for that drum. It's difficult to try it out if you haven't got a big load of stock heads to choose from. But
and you need time. So it's not about just mounting a head and then saying, okay, a few hits, playing a groove. Maybe it's not that, because a head needs time, So I think the best sounding heads are not those you've put on the drum at this morning. So they are played maybe 2 days, and then it's awesome. And I'm very much into searching for the right sound. But this is all, I think, of course, because I'm producer and I'm always searching for the right sound. So this is a very important task for my job. So this is and also I say for nothing in art there are rules. So art is here to try things out and to maybe make something you don't want it, so you just try it around and searching for sound, searching for pieces, for instruments, and then anything happens, and in one moment you think, okay, this is now great, this is sounding great, and you haven't maybe searched for this, but it happened, And so it's not about having a lot of drum heads. I think it's much more about the time and the experience with all those drum heads. I have really a lot of drum heads here because I need those for me, for the studio, and I know today which head I have to use for which sound. So I exactly know it. But I think 10 years before, I had also to try this one, to try that one. And so it needs time, and it needs a lot of time, because if you have like 3 or 4 sets, every set is very special. I have some sets here with 13-inch toms, and I think this size of toms are super special to handle. So I have like just 2 sets that are really where I'm able to tune it fast, and where I know exactly what I have to do. I have another set where I'm always like, okay, I'm pretty much sure what to do now, but then anything happens and it's not really working. So those pieces are like living people, I think. Sometimes they are easy to handle, and sometimes it's like, what happened now? And sometimes you tune it, a day later it's sounding totally stupid, but the day before it was all right, So, but normally today I know exactly what to do, because I'm a big fan of tuning drums, and I'm always tuning my toms in the right key for the tracks, and also the snares, This is important to me.
Without getting too geeky into that, which, it's easy to do that as drummers talking. Do you use any particular tool? I mean, how do you feel about tune bots and talk keys and things like that? Do you use anything like that, or do you use your ear, or do you have a special method about tuning?
Yeah, I have a tune bot here, but I think I haven't used it for 3 years or something. I was very excited buying it and trying if it works, and I think it was okay, but I'm much faster just using my tuning skills, just the ears, the feeling, and I'm honest. I sometimes just put it on and screw around, look at it, feel it, and when I'm hitting it, it's almost there. Sometimes it's just about feeling the tension, and if you know the drum, if you know your heads, then you're almost there, and then you need maybe 2-3 minutes, and then it's fine.
Do you have any electronic drums? I know I've seen you with a 2-box orange pad that I saw on one of those videos.
Yeah, I had this 2-box set here, but I have today now my old Yamaha DT Express 6. I think it's back from 2004 or something. And this is a dope kit. I love it. It's upstairs in the room where the artists are living when we're recording here, and sometimes I'm getting really lost on this piece, because it's so cool to change the sounds, just play a groove, change the sound, play the same groove, change the sound, and so you can slip through 30 presets or something. And I think it's a lot of fun, but I'm not using it live.
Yeah, that's interesting. So where you're living, where you are now, you're in a studio. Is it your studio, your home, the whole thing?
Yeah, so I am sitting now in the studio A, and I have another studio. It's like 19 kilometers from here. This is an old tower from the Middle Age, and I remade it, and now it's a kind of writing studio. So it's not really there for recording drums. It's much more a very great space where you can make music and write songs and just start your song. It's on a hill, So the hill is at this point where the tower is standing, I think already over the roofs of the city. And then the tower starts and going up 15 meters or more.
Wow.
So you have a very nice view out of it. And this is where I'm starting, I think, 60% of my tracks, and also sometimes of the tracks that I'm writing with other artists.
So on your artists, on your producer writing side, so do you spend most of your time writing or most of your time drumming, or 50-50? Where's your
So I think it depends a bit on the time. So now I'm almost just drumming, organizing things, because I'm starting over with my clinic tour this week. And so everything is about drumming and preparing things. But then there are other times when I'm writing music, of course, also for my solo project, and I'm also drumming on those tracks. Not every time. I have also tracks just with piano and the bass and me, but I think you can say that it's like 40% drumming, and the last 60% of everything is producing and writing and mixing. And sometimes, so the last 10 years, very much crafting shows for other people. So I was musical director a lot for big productions. And yeah, this is so like I'm doing it. But I mean, for me, the whole day is like being an artist. When I'm playing with my kids, it's being artist, doing it with, doing maybe also art with them. Then I'm going back into the workshop, sculpting a sculpture out of wood, and then being back at drums. So it's, I can't say I'm always drumming, but I have definitely days like today when I'm almost sitting the whole time at the drum set doing grooves, warm-ups, things, calls about drums.
So a couple of things. So we'll come back to, you mentioned your clinic tour, so we'll come back to that in a second. But are you saying basically, as long as you're creating something, you seem to be happy? Is that fair to say? Because you seem to be a very creative person, creating sculptures, creating music, creating sound and grooves and drums,
it's
and
always
refurbishing.
For me, it's very much about being creative, and sometimes it's very nice to do something with your hands. And I don't mean drumming. I mean building something that you can see afterwards. Yeah. This is something I miss sometimes when I'm doing music. So I love creating the sculptures for my cover arts, or also just doing the regie for my music videos. So directing, this is the name. Because when I'm directing the videos and I'm planning everything, then it's so super amazing to see the product. Of course, often I'm not doing this alone. I have people around me, and we are like a big team doing those things. But when you are seeing what you've done, what you've planned, how it was growing, this is a great feeling. And of course, sometimes I can say it makes me feel good. And there hasn't to be a lot. So I'm not this guy who has to present it to people. So I'm not like the modern Instagram dude, just doing arts for Instagram. and then the next piece, and then the next piece. I think the most things I've created stand anywhere in buildings from my family, from us, from my friends, in the studios, and and are not present in the internet, you know.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very important thing. There's been some conversations I've had recently about the difference between the real world and the virtual world, and the perception of success and internet and Instagram and likes and what that means and follows and all this stuff, compared to, you know, actually making something, creating something, being with people, living in the real world. I saw something today actually on some kind of probably AI generated movie about the 80s, about like the 80s miss you. It was a very interesting video. Like, in the 80s we used to hang out and go and watch the sunset or whatever, and what do you do in the 2025? You just watch it on your phone, and I think there's a nostalgic reclaim of coming our way. I think there's a revolution, some kind of revolution of anti-technology. I think we should use technology, but not abuse it. And you know, like making something, living in the real world, and having a product at the end of the day to look at, like a sculpture or something that you've made, and even just for yourself, and not having to share it on the internet and get everyone to comment about it. There's this personal satisfaction. I've experienced that with refurbishing drums and re-wrapping drums, and we talked about this before we came on air, that you've done some refurbishing of you mentioned your Swinger kit that you refurbished.
Yeah.
And I bet that gave you a lot of satisfaction coming, seeing the drum kit, rubbing it down, getting it, oh my god, what have I done? And then, you know, building it back up, and then when it's back, it's all shiny, and it's like, wow, you know, look at this. You don't need to share that with anyone, really, do you? Just look at it.
Yeah, and it's not necessary to have comments on about what you've crafted, you know, what you've made. It doesn't matter if it's a drum refurbishing or a song or anything else. So I think when it comes to art, but also to like craftsmanship, artistry, it's much more about doing it like you think that it should be. So just try not to figure out how it will be the right way for everyone outside, but much more pleasing yourself, pleasing you. And then I think when you are happy, when you're satisfied, it comes to a point when all the others out there will maybe understand it or not. And I think it's also a great thing to have a lot of people understanding what you're doing, and a lot of people who are definitely thinking it's super weird and not their thing. To try to be the right way for everyone is never the good way, you know. I think it will not work out at the end of the day. It will not work.
I suppose you lose a bit of an identity as well, and then you don't have an individuality if you're pleasing everyone. And you've got a particular style, you know, a particular look, and a particular sound that I've been watching from your YouTube videos and your other social media posts, and I could probably hear a song with my eyes shut and go, you know, I could recognize some of your work and some of your playing.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
But as a rule, I can hear people's music, and I think if you can't recognize the drummer or the artist, then I guess that's pop music. I don't know, but I guess that's in the middle where it's, I mean, pop to me is popular. That's what it's meant to have been. And it's good to write popular music because that means people might like it and buy it. But whether it has to be in the category of pop music is that's been hijacked really by mainstream, isn't it? The term pop music.
Yeah.
But then you don't necessarily recognize, because a lot of it sounds the same. Whereas you've got a sound that I would recognize. And I think that's really important to create your own your own identity without anyone seeing you.
Yeah. Of course, it's also possible to create pop music and doing this in a very individual way.
Yeah.
So very unique. And I think this is great. So I love to create music, and I love the way to create music with the passion maybe, and the goal to generate money, shows, to sell merch with. This is a great idea. So, but of course, it doesn't matter if you're doing classical music or pop music. It's always great to be unique, to have anything that is special, and nothing that we will create will be very super unique, because it's always about reaching the people and also being unique. And I think if you're too unique, if you're super, super, super special, it's very hard to reach the people. So it's a special way to figure out what you can do, what not. And of course, always it's super exciting to do that, and very important to do what you want to do. And if the people are reacting awkward, it's like it is, but don't change the way, just go the path, do what you do, and try to be the artist version of yourself that you want to be. And of course, always think about what we are doing. We are artists, and we are playing on stages. So of course, it's very, very normal to be not normal on stage. Otherwise, we can also drum alone at home. So of course the stage is the place where you can try everything, where everything is possible, and it doesn't matter if you're playing theater or playing drums.
So your clinic tour, let's get to that bit. So you're going on a clinic tour in Germany, is it?
Yes.
Yep. And when does that start?
So the kickoff was the Europe Drum Show, and now I'm playing the first show here at Thursday. Thursday is at Drum Store in St. Leon Roth here in Germany, and I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be great.
And in your clinic, have you got obviously you've got a plan, you've got a set, you've already worked it all out. I'm sure you're not just writing it now if it's on Thursday. So is it a combination of performances and exercises and questions and answers, or have you got like a pad group thing going, or how do you envisage it? If you're allowed to say, I mean, it might be top secret.
No, everything fine. So the thing is, I was never a big fan about those clinics where everybody is sitting on a pad, or everybody can join on the drum set. Because I think when you have more than 30 people in one room and everyone wants to try it out, it's getting very, very slowly, everything, and a bit kind of depressing for those who are not that good already than others in the room. So
yeah.
and my decision here was much more creating a plan and a clinic where it's more like a mixture of playing a show and talking about about methods to help yourself in different situations, out of problems, and I'm discussing all those things that are important for finding your own personality at the set. So it's called urban pop drumming, the art of being individual, of being unique. This is the title, and for me, it's much more also like a psychological thing. I'm talking about a lot of stuff that I've maybe a lot of different very complex situations I went through, and I think I'm leading the people through those situations, giving them some advice how to get through those particular times a bit faster than I got through those times. And so it's very complex, and of course the people will get on the pads and on the drums, but it's not like 90 minutes just drumming. And it's the first drum clinic where I play just my own tracks. So I've just the tracks from my solo project Chain with me, and this is it's very exciting for me to perform a clinic just with all those tracks.
So just on your solo project, so just for spelling purposes for people listening, so that's how do you spell that so people can search that?
It's Jaime, but you're not calling it Jamie, it's just Jaime.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So Jaime, and that's.
But I think it's also you will find me also on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube when you just type Joe Styppa. So it's the simple way to find me.
Yeah, and that's JOE, and it's Styppa, which is STYPPA.
Yes.
And if you're in America, you might call it Styppa. How long is your clinic tour on for, and how many sort of shows do you have?
I think it's 8 shows, but then I'm planning now the additional dates for November and December. And I have 2 single shows, then a 3 or 2 day block, and afterwards I think a 4-day block or something. I'm always checking that I'm not too long from home, away from home. So because of the kids, this is something I learned the last 7 years, that you can't come and go whenever you want.
So you've got on the family side then, so that's an interesting question. A lot of people talk about the balance between going on tour or going out and working and having a family. So you've got children 7 years and younger?
Yeah, 7, 4 and 1.
Oh wow. And the 1 and 4-year-old, are they sleeping? Do they sleep through?
You mean through the whole night?
Yeah.
No, I think no single kid from all those 3 is sleeping the whole night. So I think every night now and then anyone is coming. Papa, I'm thirsty. I have to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
So this is normal.
Yeah. I think my son I think he might have been maybe 4 until he slept through, and then now I have to drag him up, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I have one, and yeah, that was the sleeping thing was a problem. I always see that, how I see it, as a bit of a daddy dad. I'm a bit of a daddy, and
Mhm.
even though my wife wasn't over the moon that he was screaming for attention or what have you, I always saw it as a bit more time with him. So I saw that as an extra bit of time to have with him. If he was awake, then I could just go and spend more time with him. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit of obsessed with my son, to be fair, and even
Cool.
now at 19. So yeah, I enjoyed every minute of him being awake, and I think it shows that they're busy, and they're busy minds, and that they are creative. Possibly, I don't know. There's probably no science to that at all. You mentioned the European Drum Show, and what we'll do is we'll put up some information on our Instagram page and on the text for this episode, for links and things like that. So send me over any links you want to send, any information about what's coming up. But you went to
Yeah, of course.
you went to the first European Drum Show, and you was in the Mike Dolbear room, wasn't you?
Yeah, was great.
Yeah. And was that was the people that were there, was it majority German people, or do you think there was a big mixture of people that had traveled a long way,
I
more than
think it
45
was.
minutes?
I think it was a mixture out of people from Austria, Switzerland, Germany. But I'm very sure that there were a lot of people that drove 5 hours or more to this event. I think, because I'm living nearby the drum show, I think that a lot of people that are living here haven't recognized that it's happening, because here everything is very old-fashioned, promoted with posters at the street, and I think this was one piece that was missing here for the South German people. But I think for the first year it was awesome. It was a great event, a great happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll pass that on to Neil, who organised it. So,
Yeah.
because I think that's a really good bit of research, really, that
Yeah.
and also quite sweet, and we probably wouldn't expect it. We wouldn't. A lot of people wouldn't expect that posters have the value, but if you think in that area, knowing the area better, that would help, then I'm going to see him in October, so I'll tell him.
Every single event that is a bit bigger is promoted with posters. So this is a good way. And here we have a lot of drummers here in the south, and the thing that is also happening, a lot of people from the south of Germany are very much into nature, into like all this kind of real world. And a lot of guys have no Instagram or something like this, not even Facebook, So sometimes it's good when you write it in a book or on posters or on cars or on cows, like you wanted.
On cows. We'll get them to make some blankets for the cows.
Yeah.
With the advertisement on.
Or just shave it. You can shave it,
Oh, shave it in the cows. Yeah. Okay. It sounds like a beautiful place. And I was going to go last year, but it was my wife's significant birthday. And it was this year, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, it was this year. I keep saying last year. So this year was my wife's significant birthday. So I had to focus on things like that rather than going to drum shows, because I have taken her to Sonor and to Meinl, the factory. So she's been in 2 drum major drum company factory tours. Not to mention, I do drag around the drum shows in Liverpool, so and Manchester when it was there, and London when it was there. So yeah, I had to let her have that one for her birthday.
Yeah.
But next year, maybe maybe next year I'll get down to the UK, the European Drum Show.
Yeah, hey, we have to meet there. So,
Yeah.
but you told me you missed my show, right?
I didn't go to the.
Yeah. You didn't go. Yeah, that's the
No.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I would.
you wrote it to me, but then maybe we can meet there next year, having a coffee, having 2 beers, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Are you going to go? Are you going to be performing next time, or do you not know that yet? Or
I don't know it yet. I'm just working on those additional dates for my clinic tour, and when I've done this, I'm checking everything for the next year.
let's talk about. You said earlier about your art, and have you got anything coming out apart from your drum clinics, your music? Would you like to talk about your songs that you make or your music?
Yeah, so the thing is, I'm working right now on my third album, and it's always a bit like, whilst I'm working on an album, there is I'm developing an EP, even if it's not planned. It just happens because there are songs being created where I know I love those, but they will not fit on the album. So let's see what happens. But now I'm working very intense on a new series called Styppa Presents Chain Drum Reworks or Drum Remakes. I don't know, but it's the same, and it's working like I am taking an old or an existing chain track where I have nice visuals, and then I'm playing to this track with all the visuals in the background on screens, doing just a drum performance. So, because normally my chain tracks I'm drumming and doing the vocals, but here it's much more about figuring out a new way of drumming to those songs that is very that gets a lot of space in the song, you know. So the drum is really center stage and the rest is surrounding this main piece. And I'm releasing all of those single videos with another company. So I have made one with Zildjian, one with Sonor. Now I'm doing the same with the other companies I'm working with since with some almost over 10 years, I think. And the plan was to create anything between 7 and 10 videos. But this is always happening happening alongside creating the album, playing the shows, playing this clinic tour. Everything happens every day, you know. Always when I'm feeling now it's time to do this, now I have an idea for a new track, I have to do this. It's more about creating everything at the exact right time, you know. I have not a plan at 3 o'clock, I have to do this. At 12 o'clock I'm doing this. So I'm just feeling where it's going and where it's matching my vibe. But in former times I always had something where I could tell this is gonna be the next release, this will be the next song. But I'm now a bit careful because I have a lot of songs here on the hard drive already that I think are really, really dope. But I can't really decide what's the next piece. So I think now it's the time to much more figure out what's the whole thing for this new album, because all of my albums are very much taking you into another world. It's like in a movie, you know. It's that the first album is of course also combined with the second one, but those are two different worlds. And so now it's even more different because I've started also writing lyrics in German, and so it's a bit, yeah, it's a kind of bit of a mixture of German tracks, English tracks, and then I've always those feature guests with me when I'm just producing, drumming, playing the instruments, and doing maybe the chorus, and the feature artist is doing all the verses. But until now, I have just one feature ready, and maybe this will be the first album with just one or two features on it. But it feels good.
So where can we hear your music?
On all platforms, so YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Prime, or no, it's called Amazon Music, I think. Apple Music,
yeah.
Tidal, the typical platforms.
And people looking for you, just search your name.
Just search Chame. So this is the thing, and of course you just can search me on Instagram, and then you find the link in my bio.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I should know that, but I always forget to do that with get one of those link. I need a link tree thing or whatever it is, so you can put them all together. I sound really old, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I also don't have a link tree. I have for every single release something like a link file link where you find all the different stores. But I think a link tree is a bit weird. So I'm more the guy that says, if you want to know something about me, just go to the homepage, read a bit, then step over to Instagram to get more visual content, then step over to whatever streaming platform, and check the rest. And I think it's not that hard to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
what would you describe your music? Would you describe it as, would you put it in a category, or would you not want to put it in a category?
Yeah, of course. I think it's very special, and sometimes a bit more mainstream, and sometimes very experimental. But it's the core of it is a mixture of urban pop and indie alternative sound. So it happens that there are some neoclassical themes, just piano with all those nice hammering sounds on the second album, and now it's happening that I've written already some tracks that are a very exciting version of myself as an artist. So very alternative, a lot of piano, a lot of real instruments. And normally back 4 years back, I was very much into future bass. So a very electronical category of urban pop. But I think I will have those pieces on the new album as well. But this other thing is coming additionally. So the way now is that I would say it's urban pop mixed up with alternative experimental sounds, and it's a lot of electronic music, but I'm combining always very old instruments with very modern sounds, modern synth. So I've here a very old piano and an old it's called, what's the English name? Harmonium. It's called harmonium here. Do you know what I mean? It's working like an organ. You must move the feet. It's working like a very big harmonica.
Yeah,
but
like with
you are working with your feet for putting the air through the instrument.
okay, like a church organ kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like a church organ, but it's not really, because it has no pipes.
Right.
But it's sounding very, yeah.
It might be a harmonium. I mean, you're asking a drummer.
If you don't know church organs, you will think that it's a church organ.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a drummer, so I don't know much about anything, obviously. But you know, counting to 4 is quite difficult for me. But yeah, it may be a harmonium. That's a familiar word. I'm familiar with that word, but whether or not we call it the same thing, but we'll call it that for now anyway.
Yeah,
just in case, because I don't want to say the wrong thing and look even more silly. So, will you ever come over to the UK? Do you think to do any performances or?
I would love to play the UK drum show. So this would be awesome. But of course, I want to be back in London just for vacation with the family. I love London and I love Scotland. I've been in Scotland, some years ago, just with my wife and a tent. This was amazing. Just walking. We've walked the West Highland Way. Do you know, from Glasgow to Fort William? This is super crazy because the landscape is changing like every hour. You're walking an hour, then you're in a big wood, then an hour later the highlands start, then you're on a lake, and it's amazing.
Maybe I should find time to go a bit further north than the drum shop. Actually, there's a drum shop in Glasgow called Drummers Only, very good drum shop. So I could go pop to see them and then go off afterwards for a Highland walk.
Yeah, great. You have to do this. So it's really great. Very special landscape. And maybe it would be awesome to play some clinics in UK and in Scotland. This would be very awesome. I'm always trying to play some in France, but maybe I can work it out to play some in the France. Just drive up there to London, Scotland.
Well, I happen to know the Sonor UK manager quite well.
Ah, yeah.
He's a nice chap that I've known for some time. So and I know a few drum shops as well.
Great.
And
feel free to discuss this topic with them.
Well, yeah. Well, this is another reason for doing things like this, because I know of Joe Styppa, and I want more people to know of Joe Styppa. So, you know, I like your vibe, I like your music, and I like your playing. I like your drum kit.
What are normally the sizes for snare drums you use the most?
Well, I have got quite a lot of 13 by 5.75s.
Okay.
There's a reason for that, because of Benny Grebb's original snare drum. I had his first version, but before that I built a drum on a course, where you choose your size and you cut it down and you do the bearing edges and the snare beds, and then you measure and drill, and then you finish the shell. So I made one that was 13 by 5.75 before I bought the Benny Grebb one. Mm-hmm. And it's got the same kind of Mappa Burl, whatever it is, Scandinavian outer. And then I've got this 13 SQ AQ X, 13 by 6.5, and then I've got the Benny 13 by 5.75, and I've made another 13, and yeah, I think that's it. And it's got a 12, but I think 13 round is generally my most common one that I've got. What about you?
Nice.
You like the 12, don't you?
I'm right now for the clinic. I'm playing the Benny brass snare. I really love it from Sonor, and I'm really in love with the Gavin Harrison
The black
drums.
one.
It's a 12-inch snare and a 14-inch snare. Very thin shells, super nice, and the shell is round at the top, but modern shaped at the bottom. So you have a nice and very brilliant snare sound. But I'm not really sure what I will combine for the second snare here. Maybe it's just Benny brass and Benny wood, because it's working out. And but normally, often I use 14-inch pancake snares. I have 2 old pancake snares. Do you know those? It's like this size.
Yeah, piccolo sort of depth.
It's something like a 3-inch high, and or is it 4? And 14-inch. And then the thing here is that you can't tune them very high, because then you get problems with the hoops and not with the brackets, because the brackets are just screwed with one screw. And if the tension is too hard, it's a bit, destroying the shell. But I love those snares, because you can tune them low, and they are sounding very special. It's a bit like a mixture of tambourine and snare drum.
Yeah. This is a Babinga 12 by 4 that I put together.
Very nice. Yeah.
I didn't make the snare. It was already finished. I just did the drilling and then the building. But yeah, I do like the little 12s, and I do like the shallow ones. I had a piccolo pearl free floating snare in the 80s or 90s, which I loved. But now you're going to show me your kit now, are you? Let's have a look.
I want to show you the little snare I have here. This is the kit I will use for the clinic tour. This is the small kick drum we talked about.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And here we have this little
jungle snare,
and it's a modern. It's the jungle snare, a modern version of this nice pancake snares. It's like the small pancake snare, and I think if I will any time got to the honor to build a own Sonor snare, it would be a set out of a 13-inch snare and a 14-inch pancake remake, a reissue of this old pancake snare. And then here, this is like every drum should have this. Again, you see it, what Benny and Sonor did here. You have this damping
internal
system,
dampers,
a soft one and a hard one. And I'm honest, I was always for like now 7 years telling that every single drum should have this. I have an old Ludwig kit here. I have an old Sonor, 3 old Sonor kits here, and all the Sonor kits have this damping systems. Of course, you don't need 2, but you need 1. I don't know. Of course, it's a bit of money you have to invest in this drum when you're building it, but I think it's worth it. And I think of course it's a bit more expensive to build the drum, but it's so important. So everybody is working with like Moongale or damping systems on the outside, or
I agree.
Tape, just built this damping systems into the drum. Everything
Well, they
is
used
fine.
to, yeah, like you say. I mean, a lot of the old classics have got the I mean, I had the Benny Brass snare, and I don't want to really admit it on air because I feel like I've committed a crime, but I did trade it in. And
Yeah,
this is the reason. It was my most valuable snare drum at the time that I had. I wanted to buy this secondhand kit that was a bit of a one-off opportunity to get it. So I thought, what I can do, Benny's current, oh, I can hear myself in the snares. Benny's snare drum is current and available. So if I change my mind later on and I want to buy the Benny again, which of course I do, then I can. But in the meantime, I can use that as collateral to buy this kind of one-off opportunity to get this special kit that I've been after. So I've got that. And but now I'm not sure that that was a good thing. And in my shop, when I work on a Saturday, Benny's snare drum is right in front of me on the shelf. So it's very tempting to just come home with one again.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's such a great drum. And those internal dampers are, I mean, the difference between Benny's ones and anything that I've seen before is the way they go straight up,
yeah,
flat, perpendicular, whatever it is, with the head, as opposed to rather than the old fashioned ones that would wind up and hit the head here at an angle.
yeah.
So yeah, for those of you listening on the radio, it's probably a little bit difficult to understand what I'm doing with my hand, but yeah. So when you wind them up, they sort of pull them up, and then when they get to here, they're kind of flat, but there's that. They're never
They are
quite
not
as
coming.
good.
They are not coming up parallel. Yeah. So this
Parallel,
is
yeah.
the problem, and I think that the great thing is that at the brass snare here, at the new Sonor snare, it's super fast to handle. Just put it on and everything right. And the old damping systems always was screwing. And here it's so great because from song A to song B, you can change the tune from the snare, and you have so much possibility. You can damp hard, soft, then you can put the hard one or the soft one just a bit on the head or strongly with pressure, Yeah. Hey, but because we talked about snare sizes, I'm normally not a guy who is playing just one size of snare. I have a lot of snares here in the studio that are super special. So my first snare is, I think, 13-inch, but it's like this tall. The super special snare. This is an old Ludwig, I think maple. It's 15-inch and I think 7 or 8. It's a very
Special,
massive drum, and I also love this one. It's from the UK. I bought it, or was it States? I don't know it anymore. But it's also a very special drum. And of course, the special drums are those you're not taking with you on tour, because it's working for one song and just there. But it's great to have those in the studio.
Yeah.
And for the tour, it's even when I'm touring with pop artists, it's mostly Gavin snares and Benny snares, because I think they are working great.
Yeah, they are great, and they've got a very distinctive sound. And when I post some stuff up on Instagram and stuff, and some of the people that I know, genuinely the ones that I know, and also on the Mike Johnston site that I'm a member of, that I post on, the comments I always get is, "Wow, that snare!" And every time it's that snare, it's the Benny Greb snare. So
Okay.
it's every time, whenever I've ever been commented or complimented on that snare sound, it's always been the version 2 Beach or the version 2 Brass. It's not the Brass anymore because it's not here anymore, but it's genuinely the Beach one because I use that the most.
Yeah.
And it's on my kit at the moment. I've just moved it to my second side because I'm just playing with the one that I built recently. I built it in 2015, but I'm just playing with it because I haven't had it out for a while. But yeah, I mean, I just come in here and play along to tracks, and that's what I was going to ask you. Do you ever have drumless options, like drumless tracks? Have you ever been interested in, or how easy would it be for you to, or would you be interested in putting out some like play along options? Because
I'm very interested because I'm also working on a book, but I think it will take some years until it's finished. But every now and then I'm writing some pages down, and it's very special to write this drum sheets with exercises that helped me a lot, And so, of course, in turn of this, it would be great to also release some tracks of mine as drum play-alongs. And I think it's a thing from a few minutes to prepare one song for this, because everything is here on the hard disk. Yeah. Do you want to play to a song of mine?
yeah, I'd love to, but not too difficult.
Of course. So you can maybe just listen to the tracks on Spotify and afterwards tell me what's your favorite.
Okay, we'll do that, and then I'll embarrass myself by playing along. But see, I have this thing about, I want drumming to be as inclusive as possible. I want as many people to be able to play the drums as possible. And I'm not a professional in the industry. I'm not an educator. And I'm, the only thing I do professionally in the industry is sell drums on a Saturday to customers that want to buy. And we do sell Sonor, by the way, and Zildjian. But I very much want as many people to have as much resource as possible and inspiration as possible, and to much resources, maybe not too much, but just enough to keep people interested and encourage them. The amount of people that come to me in the shop that say, I'm 50 years old. Well, they don't normally say that. That's a bit strange, but they say, I've got 3 kids. They've all grown up and gone to university. I used to play the drums when I was young. I now got a bit of money and I've got space and I want to sort of get back into it. What kind of kit do you recommend? Or, I might even get out there and do some gigging again. And I'm always really like pro helping those out and then giving them, resources of songs to play along to, or, people to look out for, to inspire. So yeah, for me, I'm in here without a band. So I'd love to have a band. Most of the people my age want to play old rock music or blues, which I don't mind blues, or Oasis covers, which, quite frankly, no thank you. And so if I could find some people like-minded that want to connect, that'd be great. But until then, drumless tracks is that's my friend. That's somewhere I can go and play. And I don't like using Moises and taking people's drum kits out. I mean, you can use Logic and take drums out. I'd rather do it with permission and like with, a bit cleaner as well, because those things are never as clean as having a drum, the stems without the track, without the drums. But yeah, I think that would be great. To play onto one of your tracks would be great, to have that kind of resource for people that are at home in their rooms without a band or without the time or without all the excuses in the world or whatever to not do something. It might just encourage people to play more. So
yeah, maybe it's also a great idea to do just something like a play along EP. just 7 tracks from my EPs and albums, 7 very maybe special tracks that are different in the way I handle the tempi and the grooves, that you have 7 very exciting tunes there without drums, maybe with percussion. I often do it for myself, always figuring out which percussion pieces I left there for my live shows when it comes to putting together the live stems. Because of course I'm playing alone, so I'm doing a lot with Loop Station, but I also have some backing tracks with me. Otherwise it wouldn't work. But maybe this is a thing.
Yeah, do you know what? I think, Benny did a thing, Unboxing Benny, where you purchase from him and you get the drumless versions of some of his tracks from the Brass Band album. And you also get like a video that you can stream, that you can't download it, but you can watch it whenever, forever, because you've got it. And he goes through each track. And he also gives you the transcripts if you want to play it just how he did it, which there's no point in me looking at those because I'm not going to be able to understand them, read them, or perform that in that way. But I do get a lot of pleasure out of playing as close as I can and doing it my way. And if I can get to the end of the track and stay in time and it makes sense and I can get the mix nice in here, I've got some decent setup in here, decent microphones in here for my use. If I can get a good sound, then I produce something for myself and I'm very proud of it. And if you look on my YouTube, you'll see some not so brilliant ones, but I do put out stuff that is not perfect, because nothing I'm ever happy with is never really perfect. There's always something like, oh no, and I think, here I go, I'm going to do this. Oh no, I wish I didn't try that. But
But I think it's very important to do some things like you described. So not everything has to be polished and be high end. You know. So when it comes to hobby, when it comes to your free time, it's important sometimes to show the world that not everything is always top notch.
Yeah, so that's something we talked about before, wasn't it? Well, before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I think it's an honesty, and also that helps the inclusivity, because people, I'm certain there's lots of people that watch these videos and they think I could never do that. And there's no point in me trying because I could never do it. And that's a shame. That's a missed opportunity. It's a missed opportunity to have a bit of fun, to do something other than looking at your phone and watching other people have a life. Because we spend a lot of time in this world at the moment. A lot of young people, I've seen my son before, watching people playing video games, watching people skating and doing tricks with their friends. They're in their bedroom watching someone else doing something.
Doing stuff, yeah. That's a problem, man. And this is a very big thing I'm thinking about now, being dad, being a lot with my kids and my family, thinking about how to handle this the right way. Because, of course, I'm very... I'm a very creative person, and I think I'm creative cause or that creative cause I never had a TV in the first years of my life. There were no things like smartphones, and so I just made stuff. I was in the workshop. We had a little workshop at home, creating things out of wood, and I was drumming on pots and pans, like you mentioned before. Then I was drumming on the old Swinger kit. Then I was outside playing in the woods. And this is exactly what my children now are doing. Being creative, painting a lot, being outside, making music. And I want that this will be the way they are growing up. So not just until they are 11 or something. I want that they figure out how the real life is working and how nice it could be to live in the real life, and of course also to feel when something is hurting and to have emotions and to live your life, to understand that there is a way that you can create everything you want to do. Because of course there was a moment when I hit the drums for the first time and I thought, great, this is a great feeling. And then I got to the point where I felt, oh, I suck at this instrument. I have to train a lot. When I want to get better, I have to work on my skills. And then I worked and I practiced a lot, and it was great of fun. And it's today also great fun. I started at the morning in the room there on the other set on the SQ1. Then I played here, and it's so nice. And then I want to have it for my children like the same way. But of course, all the kids have smartphones. All the kids are watching TV a lot, and everything is about trends, So there is nothing like, oh, this one is very unique and it's super, super exciting and very, he's very talented, and this is super special. Everything is about being trending on TikTok and being part of something. Of course, when I was young, I was skateboarding a lot, so I love skateboarding until now. And of course, we had a time when everybody had this big Osiris or Etnies shoes. This was a must-have, but this was not like that extreme like we have it today, that everyone is checking out the newest trends and trying to be part of it. So I love when people doing very special things and being exactly the version of themselves that they want to be. And it's a bit special to figure out a way as that for the children, but I think I will handle it because I think the best way to handle it is to give them a version of the life in this real world without smartphone and something. So they can have a smartphone, of course, but the life must be much more interesting than what is happening there.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, the way.
We've had hopefully an interactive conversation about a subject that we both love, and I think the message of this podcast is about amateurs, not you being an amateur, me an amateur, the people that host it. I normally have a co-host. We are amateur players, and we have day jobs, and it's for amateurs to sort of kind of connect with the business a little bit. Some people that are doing it for real, people that make products, people that make small businesses like drum builders. We've had a couple on, educators, people that own shops, because we want to keep shops going because we know that they're just falling off. Like Drum Centre Cologne is going at Christmas. And Benny said that Hamburger one went, and we've had them dropping off in the UK quite a lot. So we're doing our best to try and keep it alive, and conversations like this are not, I don't think, a waste of time. So,
of course not, man. And I think it's very, very important to talk to other drummers, not always just drum or watch them drumming. Sometimes it's just about talking. This is what I meant concerning my clinic. It's not I'm drumming something, then every other can try it out. It's much more I'm drumming, then I'm talking, and sometimes anybody can try something. Because I think I'm much more inspired by the message that an artist, a musician, painter, whatever, has to tell me. And then I try to work this out for me, and or if it works out for me, and afterwards I can mostly look and watch a lot of videos from this guy telling me how to do that, how to do this. But it's for me always very inspiring listening to what they have to tell. Also, if it's funny stories from tour or something like this, it's always great to hear. And so I think it's always cool to talk to other drummers. And it's for me, it doesn't matter if they are amateurs, advanced, or professionals. So because we are people that have like the same love for the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is awesome.
Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to speak with you. It was very nice.
It was my pleasure.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
Follow us on Instagram at the Drum Shed Podcast. Thanks for listening.